Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cropper here. Now, I'm not using a cheap screen splitting technology to get you to see this, because I've got this Mac and that Mac pointed at each other. See? Now, not everybody has that technology, so not everybody can use screen splitting technology. Alright, so just wanted you guys to appreciate how spoiled you are when you log into a Mr. Cropper video. You've got two Macs at work here, alright? Alright, now, Victor Prost says, why do you think the Constitution of the United States is so impotent to control power-hungry politicians? Wrong. Clearly we're not. Clearly Venezuela has that problem. China seems to have just had a president elected for life, or who he was elected and then changed the Constitution so that he's now in for life. We don't have Trudeau. We don't have Putin. Who do we have that's causing these problems that he sees? Now, insofar as the United States is not able to contain power-hungry politicians, it is for the following reasons. Section 8 of the United States Constitution, in Article 1, reads, "The Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes." Okay, that right there is a big problem. That's going to cause the problem. It also has the power to lay and collect duties, imposts, to pay the debts and provide for the common defense and welfare. Now, it needs to be able to pay the debts and provide for the common defense and the welfare through voluntary contributions. So that's the problem right there. Number 2, has the power to borrow money on the credit of the United States. Now, we should be able to borrow money, but it should be pretty difficult, and it should be paid back. And there's nothing wrong with a country sitting on a pile of money. Look at Norway. There's nothing wrong with that. That's how our government should be. It should spend what it has and no more. It should take in money from the citizenry and spend less than it takes in. And it should take in money voluntarily. Okay? Number 3 is also a problem. Real big problem here. Congress shall have the power to regulate commerce with foreign nations and among the states and with Indian tribes. So that's a very bad term, to regulate commerce. Now that has a historical meaning. They thought to regulate meant to make regular, and they thought without regulation, commerce would be crazy. It would just be insane. They thought that the actions of the mob would just be crazy, right? They didn't live in the United States of America. They lived before it. They were creating it. They didn't know that the market can take care of these things just fine. They didn't know that. So they put this in, so now we can take it out. Number 4, no problems. Number 5, to coin money. That's big. To coin money, to regulate the value thereof, and of foreign coin, and fix the standard of weights and measures. There's no reason to regulate the value of money. The market can do that. There's no reason to regulate the value of foreign coin. The market can and will do that, even if you make some stupid law. In fact, even if you make a law regulating the value of money, it's not going to work. The money's going to have the value it has objectively. So, that is just magical powers they're giving there. Okay? Now, they didn't even use that power to some extent. I mean, banks gave out their own greenbacks. There were thousands of different monies in the United States up until the late 1800s, early 1900s. So, did that system worked to build the greatest economy? So, would it work to run it? Well, it did for 100 years. Of course it would work to run it. Now then, okay, also, people say, you go into a pizza parlor in the 1850s, you go into a pizza parlor, you try to pay for something, and they won't take banknotes from X, Y, and Z banks. You have to use certain banknotes. You can't use certain others. So it was a mess, right? And then they have this cash drawer full of all these different banknotes, and then they go try to change some of them for money or for different money, and they're not usable or whatever. Well, we have the same thing today when you can go pay with Bitcoin or whatever else. They've got different ways to pay, right? You could pay with Bitcoin, PayPal. Well, you just pay with dollars. All right, Bitcoin. So we're seeing some bit of that. It's just more than one money in circulation, and except they were all dollars. And Bitcoin is that too. Bitcoin's $15 worth of Bitcoin. So don't let it explode your head, the idea that the government doesn't need to control money. Of course they don't. The government didn't create Bitcoin, unless you think they did. Okay. So that's a problem. Number 6 is a problem, to provide for the punishment of counterfeiting of securities and current coin in the United States, but it's just a sub to number 5. And number 7 is a problem, to establish post offices and roads. So no need for that, no reason. Okay, there you go, Victor. That is really the source of the power of politicians in the United States. If they didn't have the power to regulate commerce, to coin money, and to lay and collect taxes, they would have very, very little power indeed. They would be really stuck just running the police courts and military, which themselves would have very, very little power, and almost nothing to do besides react to crimes that were committed. Now then, such a succinct answer. What shall he do with such a succinct answer? Victor, what are you going to do with this answer? He's going to put it to his peanut gallery, who had answers like this when he said, "Why do you think the Constitution of the United States is impotent to control power-hungry politicians?" His peanut gallery said, "Because it's a living document, and monarchy is a dream that doesn't work." So it's a monarchy? What are you, a lame brain? Nathan, lame brain? Then Grant, this guy named Grant, says, so long as there is centralized force in society and political W-kite support by enough people and special interests, no amount of words on a special piece of paper will be enough to stop a parasitical, incrementally more authoritarian institution called the state from growing, exploiting, and infringing upon people's social and economic liberty. Well, if he could concretize that, he would probably just list the articles that I just listed. Pardon me, the sections that I listed of Article 1. But he's not able to concretize what he's saying there, is he? Oh, and then Liberty Bella comes in and is the only voice of reason besides myself in the comment section. She says, huh? It's not. It's not unable to control power-hungry politicians. And it hasn't been unable to for a long time. Where have you been? Thank you, Bell. Victor, where have you been? The United States does not have the problems that are had right now in Venezuela. We don't have a president for life in Putin or in Xi Jinping or whatever the guy in China is. Where is your head, Victor?